to see. I haven't seen you in 10 years. No, no,
Yeah,
no.
I think the last one was in Montreal when you came with Leslie.
That's right. Yeah, which was 6 years ago, probably.
I don't travel that much, so I don't think people know me that much in English. So maybe that's why. I don't know. And in French, there's not that many. There's interview, but podcast doesn't. It doesn't. It exists, but not as much as in English.
But with your work that
Yeah.
comes out from like the French Canadian publishers, do you get a lot more press for that? But it's like in French.
Yeah, I think so. Well, yeah, it's different kind of press. Like I think it's English is always like more like comic. People review it as comic blog or I don't know. Like it's not the same. I think in French it's more, at least in Quebec, it's more literary. Like it's treated the same way a little bit. So you get review. You can be review on a radio show or in the paper, but at the same place that novel get review and things. So it's not separate as much.
Do you have do all of your books come out in French first and then they're translated into English?
Yeah, for now, yeah. At the moment, pretty much. Yeah, it's been a little while. I'm not as prolific as you. So
Was Petty Theft your last book?
yeah.
And then
Yeah, but I work on something that's big and like on those big page, but I'm not finished. Maybe I will finish one day.
you've done a lot. No, I don't know, man. Like, I mean, I feel like you probably, I think you have just as many graphic novels as I do. I have a lot of collections, like a lot of like collected older stuff.
Yeah, but this one, yeah, I think more like in a French. Maybe it's the way the comic I read when I was a kid. But even the last book get published, like that's what I was telling you about. Like the French one is like this format, and it's like 48 pages, like Lucky Luke or Asterix, or like album kind of like,
Yeah.
and the English version is like 100 page.
How did they do
So,
that?
well, it's because I don't for a publisher this format is scary in English. Not enough page. It's not a graphic novel. How do you call it? Like graphic novel. I don't know. And then and people are not used, I think, to read as much that format. So and I think because I drew that book in a weird way, it's all drawn in those sketchbook like that. So because I did it this way, and I can show you later, but like it's all like one panel per page. So and then I put them in the book, with Photoshop, and I arranged them. So all my original stories, like all like I did like planned it this way. It's all planned, but after that I get the sketchbook and I draw them. But when I think it's Chris, when Chris saw it the first time, he was like, maybe we can play with the format. And I said, well, I wasn't sure at the beginning. He said, well, I will let you like move the thing around, and then let's see if it's readable. Because if you change, you don't change panel and like that. Maybe it worked. I don't know. Like I work like Chester Brown is working almost.
Panel. Yeah, I didn't know that you drew like that. I didn't know you drew like just in little sketchbooks and then put it together.
No, not all the time. It's just this one because I have a job. I have a day job, and I have a daughter, and I can draw just everywhere. So comic is so long.
Do you pencil first, or is it just straight to ink?
It depends on the time. Sometimes I pencil, sometimes it's straight ink. Do you pencil? Do you pencil before?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It just doesn't look like it because I just suck at drawing. That's the problem, man.
No, when I do the whole page, I pencil because it's scarier. If you miss one, and like it's a pain. But in that, it's a little bit less. I don't know. It's one by one, so I start like something, and it's like sometimes I improvise the panel a little bit, and then I put it next, and if it fits, I keep it. If not, I can redo it. There's a lot of missed panel,
So how long ago did you start that book?
I think it took me a year but I planned it like a long time ago, because when I got my daughter, I was working on another book, and at some point I thought about like doing like a maternity murder mystery. Like the detective is based on my girlfriend who's on maternity leave, and I had this idea of doing a sort of murder mystery already, and I mixed those two. I was like, well, that's $1 million idea. But I kept it. I said I'm going to finish my book and see after. And I just wanted to just work on that. 2019 June 12th is the first panel. So yeah, so I guess I finished. Well, there's some year. So it's like in April, around the end of April 2020.
I want to go back to like because I read that you started doing comics when you were 24, right?
Yeah. Well, I did it when I was a kid, but I quit when I was when I was a teenager and doing other thing. So I lost a lot of time. But at 24, I guess, I came back. I was working construction, but I come from a small place where we didn't have access to all those comics. It was mostly, I don't know, you read what's at the library. So those comics that I read when I was a kid, and then I stopped, and then in my 20s I discovered all that comic drawing party and all the thing that was published in France and what was starting in Quebec, and I said, well, let's try it, and it was so small in Quebec, there was no one doing it almost, so you start a blog and already publisher are looking at your stuff, so wow. I got published pretty fast. I was like, I think most of my first work was almost published. It's really hard to, it's not, I don't know if it's a good thing. But they were eager, they were looking for people,
Was it Nicholas? Was that the first thing you published?
No, there's a book that's not translated. It's called, I guess it's called Dans un cruchon. I guess I don't even want to try. It's a bad book, yeah. You want to see that? Oh my God. Oh. This is that. You see
my God, look at your drawing style.
Yeah, so there was like page like that, very empty. And it's not. I don't know. It's very different.
Is that drawn with a brush?
It's, no, not a brush, like a pencil, kind of.
Oh, okay.
It's not a page over this. Yeah, this is not good. This is not good.
So Nicholas was your second book then?
Yeah, it was. This one was not published, and already it was like in the process, and I did Nicolas in a weekend, and I said, I think this is better, and he said like, let's publish both. But yeah,
it was from the same publisher.
Yeah, it was Mécanique Générale. They still exist. Yeah, it's Mécanique Générale. It was like Jimmy Beaulieu. I don't know if you know Jimmy Beaulieu.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a friend, but he's also a publisher at the time. He's the one who started that, and a lot of people got published by him at the time. He's also a cartoonist. He's Conundrum. I think Conundrum did two of his book.
Yeah, they did My Neighbor's Bikini or something like that, and like a collection. I think there was a
collection.
Yeah, he draws like really nice women. That's what I always think of when I think of his work.
Yeah, and he's still doing that.
But when you're published by a French Canadian publisher, does that get imported to France and to Belgium and stuff? Do they get that the same? So okay, so you couldn't have something published in Quebec and then have it published by L'Association in France at the same time.
So you could. You could. Some people do that deal where they publish in Quebec and in France, but you have to keep your right. They start to do that more and more. It's a new thing. Like I know Guy Delisle, Guy Delisle, his last book he published with one publisher in Quebec, Pau Pau, and with Delcourt, I think. No, I don't know. I think it's Delcourt in France. So he keeps his right for both territory. Because when you import like a book, they get so much more expensive. So if you print a book, it's just a matter of price thing too, and getting a publisher that know more the place. So people are starting to do that. But I don't do it because yeah, I'm with La Pastèque in French, and they got book in France, and they're pretty good. But yeah, it's something they start to do. Like Louis Trondheim is doing that with some of his books that are published just in Quebec, so they get less expensive too. And yeah, like if you look at that book in France,
Hmm.
well, you see you got the price from Quebec,
Yeah.
Canadian, and you got the euro,
Oh,
already on the book.
huh.
So 17 euro, that's not bad. It's not that
Okay.
expensive. Yeah, well, it's expensive. Anyway, it's like they put that. It's pretty well. Yeah, I guess it's expensive.
What comics were you reading when you were growing up? Just like Asterix and all the imports, or what?
Yeah. Well, they not import here, so Lucky Luke, Spirou. But the drawing in that is so beautiful. It's really. I really love. Maurice was drawing that, so there are a lot of and the colors. A lot of those things are good. And I was reading a lot of Archie comic
Yeah.
because I was. They were all translated in French, and they made those little like paperback kind of small book. Then it
Hmm.
was sold in grocery store. Well, I guess in English too. Well,
Still
it's
is.
the same format, but
Yeah.
they was translated in Quebec. And my aunt, like I had a few people in my family who were buying them, and at some point when they finished, they gave me that, and I was like in love with Archie,
Hmm.
not Archie himself, but the cover. And
Yeah.
yeah, those are the main thing I think. And Saint-Pé, I don't know. Do you know Saint-Pé?
No, I don't know that one.
He does a lot of New Yorker. Well, there's a book here because thinking about it, but there's a book of it like
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. He
guy like
does New
Saint-Pé.
Yorker covers. Yeah.
Yeah, so this guy do a lot of one panel joke, I guess, gag a little bit. There's children books, so to all my life that was a big. That's I think the one I always go back to mostly.
Yeah.
And
Is that your biggest
yeah,
influence?
like a ton of. Well, I don't know. Well, one of the most constant one, yeah,
Mhm.
probably because he did children books, so you got that as a kid. Some of them, then you grow up, and I just love his drawing. So this is thing that's big, a little bit like Schultz and Peanut. This is thing that I read when I was a kid, and then you keep reading that at almost 40.
Mhm.
It doesn't make sense, but it's great at the same time that you have the same interests as I have the same interests as my daughter.
Yeah. Well, what happened after Petty Theft that made you stop drawing comics for a while?
That was before Petty Theft. It's funny. I think I did Reunion. I was on working just comic and illustration. I did Reunion, and then I was in a relationship, and then my ex, she broke up. It was not going well, and I moved to Montreal, and I don't know. I think I was not. I don't think I was happy doing just that. You get kind of moody, I don't know. I think I have the personality, but just always being at home or doing that, it was hard.
Yeah.
I think I was depressed, and I started volunteering to do. I was volunteering with like older people in Montreal, and I love doing it. And I was like, it doesn't make sense. I should maybe try to do something with that. So I went into social work, but yeah, and now I have the balance where I work 3 days a week as a social worker
Mhm.
and 2 days a week or more. Just doing at home. Like today I'm at home, but tomorrow I'm going to be at the hospital. But it's just the perfect balance where I refuse. I don't take contract, illustration job, but I just work on book, so and I guess I don't have the pressure to produce that much. I don't know. You just do comic mostly, you, eh?
Yeah, yeah. I don't have a job. I just draw.
Yeah.
So,
But it's good. I mean, I think it fit. Like most of my friends, I was like, maybe they do that full time, and I was thinking like maybe I shouldn't do it. And now I found this place where I was like, well, let's do it. Let's do both jobs that I both like.
yeah.
I miss time in both jobs.
Well, that sounds good though. Like I know what you mean because it is very depressing if like you're just at home all day, you're working, and sometimes you just don't feel like drawing at all. Like you're just like, I can't do that. Like, you can't get yourself in that headspace. And social media hurts that, you know, because you're so
Oh
tempted to
yeah,
just sit on Facebook or Instagram when you should be getting work done. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, I totally understand that. And like, you know, I don't know how long I'll do this. I might go back to work eventually. Uh, but you know, I mean, especially because I have a kid coming that I'm like,
Yeah, I
what's
know.
this going to be like?
I
But
wanted to talk to you about that too, but you know that the reason I say before I was kind of shy talking about my work and I was like trying to separate them, and now I'm like, no, I think it's I think it's possible, and I think many people like that doing like hard seriously because I still take it seriously. You can have, I think, a side career where it's not just a day job that you hate. I don't know. I know it's hard, but for me, I'm lucky at work. It seems so. I
yeah,
don't know. Yeah, but yeah, you keep it. It lower your ambition in a sense of like, if not, you're frustrated if you really uh, you really want to put a book a year. I don't think it's possible, but you know.
yeah. Well, that
Yeah.
happened for me like naturally. The pressure of like comics like being the thing that made me happy. Like you know, when I was younger, when I was in my 20s, like if I didn't feel that like my comics like career was going well, I wasn't happy. You know, like it could really break my mood.
Well, you became that too. Like, I mean, I remember when I first met you, and it's like now you put that body of work, and it's like, you know, like the people that, you know, I'm sure you get some people that read your stuff and then new one, but because you're stable in your production and your book are good, so it's like you just get more and more reader, and at some point you get confident a little bit probably in what you're doing. You know, you're doing for real. Like, I don't know. I saw your pilot book, like the next book. I don't know. It seemed like it's gonna be big. Like it's, like that's impressive. That's massive work. You know.
Yeah, but I
And
don't.
you finished before having your kids, so it's good.
Didn't you have like a little bit of you inside that was like my, you know, the reputation I've been building as a cartoonist is now everybody's going to forget about me because I'm not out there putting out new work and stuff.
I did. Yeah, I'm thinking about comic all the time, even when you're not doing it. That's the weird thing. And sometimes there's some point where I was like, well, I'm just gonna stop, and your brain don't stop too much.
Yeah.
It's hard. So I never really quit. So, and I work on things that's just not published, so I never fully stop. Um, but yeah, there was a point where I was like, well, I'm taking too much time and at some point I was like, no one care. No one really care. If people would be like, oh, you know, it would be disappointed if I don't do another book. Some people around, a few people say, oh, that's too bad. But then they go on with their life, you know, it's not like life from that for everybody. So I don't know. I remove the pressure from that. And I think maybe I don't think I'm that confident in my stuff, but enough to be yeah, I'm doing my own thing and it's fine if it's not. I don't fully I'm not jealous of other people that much or compare myself too much on other people on that on career level because now I have such a strange double career that I don't know too many people that have that and both I just want to maintain if I can and maybe a little bit better but not lower. But you know I see people around like
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, you meet so many. I got so many friends with comic, and I just miss the festival too and stuff like that. Like, and then seeing friends, like it's a good. I think sometimes I do comic too because of the relationship you build with that. And that's like most of my friends are from comic. But when you gonna have a baby?
Uh,
I saw
September
your
2nd
wife.
is the due date.
September. Are you excited? Are you worried about like you know how to manage comic and baby at the same time?
I'm excited and scared.
The month before the baby's coming, it's kind of a weird moment. It's kind of stressful.
Yeah.
You don't know, and once they arrive, it's a shame. But I remember the week after my daughter was born, there was time like they sleep a lot, and I remember the week after, like I was already drawing comic, and I was like, I thought I would draw a comic for a while.
What comic were you drawing? Was that Rebecca and Lucy that you were working on?
No, it was like a big book. I was working on a big book, and I should finish it because it's 60-page in. It's all in color. It's big, you know.
Yeah, let me see.
Can I get up on that? Can I?
Yeah, yeah.
I got some page here. Like it's
Oh my God.
like a huge page like that, you know. It's all watercolor. I did 60 page. I think it would be like 120, and I'm super slow at those things, but I don't know if I have the motivation to go back. But maybe. I don't know.
But why did you draw that all on one page instead of on a separate panels that you could move around?
Because at the time that's before, and I was like, yeah, I don't know why I did that. That's not a good method for me. That's why I'm slow on that, because I have the hospital and I have my daughter and another thing, you know, cleaning, whatever. So it's like I work on it, but it's take more time just because it's never there's good stuff in that. I should finish.
Yeah, finish, man.
Yeah.
So do you feel like your reputation as like as an English cartoonist is on par with what your reputation and as being like a French Canadian cartoonist is?
I don't think so.
Are you more popular there, you think?
Well, popular is a big word, but yeah, because it's a small world in Quebec. Like there's like, I don't know, 8 million people. Mm-hmm. And because there's a few festival and literary festival, like in comic festival a little bit. So the people in comic, you know them all in general. And even literary, like you know them all too, because you know you cross path a little bit more, like people who make music, movie and things. So people kind of know you because of that. In English, it's strange in English because I don't travel much, and so you don't know. It's all online. So and you get like sale thing at the end of the year, but it's not like I really know. I went to XPX, and it's every time I go to a festival, it's super calm. You know, I get a few people, but really not that much. Which is okay. So I'm more happy to meet people, but sometimes you're behind the table and there's no one, you know. So
yeah, I know.
But I never did like you guys. Like a lot of people, you know, you did it for a few years when you travel to every festival. Like John, you know, John personally knows, like he's a big supporter and he's a friend, you know. But like he's a trooper. He's the real deal. Traveling.
Yeah, isn't that brutal though when you go to a comic convention and then like it's your turn to sign at your author's table and you're just sitting there and nobody is showing up and you're like, oh God, please. And you see somebody walk by and you're like, hey, how's it going? You're like trying to make eye contact with them.
It is. And especially when I saw the drone party, like, and you're next to someone who's always like, Michael, I don't know. Yeah, but Michael is different because I saw him more in Toronto. In Toronto was not that bad, but like when I was in XPX, I was next to like, I don't know, Lisa and Awal, you know. So it's like and BoJack was on Netflix and thing, which it was fine. I was not too bruised by not having anyone. You feel a little bit dumb, you know. You feel like the dumb. You know, they fly you out, they put you in a hotel. So it's like I didn't do like also sleeping on someone's couch or anything like that.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I would do that. Like I'd sleep on somebody's couch, and then I'd go sign at Fantagraphics, and they'd have me signing next to Emil Ferris. They're like, "Fuck!" And then there'd be a huge line of people for Emil, and I would just be sitting there by my lonesome with my books this high, and I'd just be talking, making conversations with people that are waiting for her to sign their book.
Yeah. She's the nicest though. It's nice. At least she's nice. You know, if you sign to someone who's not nice, but it's terrible.
But they'd always have me sign next to Simon Hanselman, and he would be making fun of how few books I would be selling compared to him. Yeah. Come on, you got to get these people over here. Come on, man. He's like sitting there signing all these books, and then people are like, "Oh, you're my favorite. Thank you so much." And I'm just sitting there like the biggest fucking. I'm like apologizing to Fantagraphics, like I'm so sorry that you.
I'm sure you got people now, no?
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure
don't.
you got.
This is years ago though, but it's just funny.
Yeah, because if you go like the complete like Fante, like you'll be fine. I'm sure. Like I'm sure you get a line. So,
But
you
it's just
know,
it's the humility. It's like the rite of passage though. You know, you have to go
well, I
on.
didn't do it. I didn't do it. That's the thing. I didn't even do the zine. I was published right away, and I didn't do those festivals. But I think it's because of having most of the time a second job where I was like, you know, there was a year I was supposed to go to Angoulême. First year, it was in 2006 when my book was published, and I was working construction at the time, and it was the middle of winter, and I was outside like on the roof or something. It was like freezing, and I remember that people were sending me email like in the morning. I saw it that there was at the time Louis Trondheim was the president. He was the president that year. That was the year he was the president. And I don't know how, but he got my book. He got Nicolas, and he was like, and he was talking about my book everywhere. You
Oh,
know, during that festival. I never met him. I knew him because of his work, but people said, "Oh, he's walking around with his book," and there was like I think they brought like 5 copies of my book that time, so they sold out like that because he was like, you know, president. President. I don't know if they call him president, but it was, "What are you reading now?" And he was talking about the book with the book, you know. So it was like that was the best sale pitch you could have, and I was like working in construction, and I was missing that.
oh man.
So, but I never did too many those festivals and things. So like some people they go to TCAF every year and they have their table. I don't think I ever had a table. I'm
Oh
always
yeah,
at my
yeah. Me too.
so,
I would always just like sit with John P. You know, like I would
yeah.
go, hey, can I sit at your table? And he'd give me like a little slice of his table to like sit at, you know, and hang out.
No, he's a nice man. Well, but that's why maybe I'm not as known because I never did the grind. You know, I never
Well,
did
is
the
was Nicholas your best selling book? It seems like.
No,
I mean,
no.
really? Because there's 2 editions of it.
Yeah, but the first one was published at like 1,000 copies or so.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah.
a small print, so it's more that. No, it's sell like in French it was like 600 copies, so that's terrible. Like no, I think it's petty theft at the moment. It was the petty theft. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
in English, I don't know that much because there was a weird deal where I didn't have the right before, so they go to well, so and I don't. To be frank, I don't really look. In French, it must be I don't know 3,000 copy of a book that I sell. 3,000, 4,000. That's
Yeah.
probably around.
That's pretty good though.
Yeah, yeah. For like a small market like that, it's mostly in Quebec. It's good. I cannot complain. I cannot complain on that. You know, and
How
I
did
got nice readers.
how did Chris Oliveros find your work and ask you to if you could publish it?
It just well, it's funny because at the beginning, you know, at the time I was talking to Jeffrey Brown. You know,
Yeah.
I was sending him like John and Jeffrey Brown. There were people I was talking to by mail and thing. And I sent him my book, and he said like, well, he said if you translate it, you know, like fast, so you do a homemade translation on a sheet. Like, I will send it to Top Shelf. You know.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, that would make sense. They do small book. I was thinking they do small book.
Yeah.
Uh, and I love John Crowley, and I was like, I want to be published by them, but I was like, they're not going to publish my work. It's you know, this is not professional enough and all that. That's not nice to say about Top Shelf, but you know, I said they will publish my work. No, they maybe them, and so I sent it to Top Shelf, and they refused. And I think a week later, after I got the, you know, they refused it. Oh yeah, so I did. I said the refusal. I think Top Shelf is the only publisher I pitched to. And then a week after, I got an email for Chris who said, "I saw you." Because it's just small world in Quebec, you know. Chris is always in bookstore. You see him; he's always at the John Crowley bookstore or the thing, and he's look at thing on table. So he's aware of what's coming out. He's aware as everyone. Yeah. I think he just read it because he read French too, and he said, "I want to publish it." So he was just one of those nice emails you receive when I was like, what? And then it was published. And I've been published by them since 2007 or 8.
What was Bigfoot the second book you did in English that was translated in English?
Yeah. In English is mostly Nicolas, Bigfoot, Reunion, Petty Theft, and this one.
And was Bigfoot won a Doug Wright Award, right?
Yeah, he won a Doug, but like Tom said, it was a slow year that year too.
Oh,
he said, but I said, I think it was a slow year. He said, yeah, it was a slow year. It's crazy. I won I remember I won, and it's such a crazy thing too, because I won the best book, and the day after I was leaving for tree planting. I was going tree planting in the West, and I was going directly from the festival to tree planting. So I brought that trophy, that set design, you designed those trophies, and I had that in my tent all summer tree planting. This trophy. I just won like best Canadian comic of the year, and I'm tree planting in the middle of Alberta. I was like, what a career suicide.
Go tell the other people, look, I won this award, and they're like, what?
I think I don't remember if I shown it even. It's humble you, I think. You cannot, if you won like best Canadian film or best movie or best whatever, sometimes it can help your career and thing. If you want like this best comic of that, or maybe that's me. I shouldn't have left for tree planting. I don't know.
Weren't you didn't you want to get into filmmaking or something?
I studied that, but I just when you study film and thing, people are like, there's like big personality that take over, and it's like, so when they were doing project, it was like, well, I got an idea and someone jump on it, and it's like, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do the sound. So I was doing the sound. It's funny, I know it's gonna sound pretentious, but when I did Bigfoot, at the time I was watching, like, do you know Eric Romer? I don't know how you call him. Anyway, he's a French director, like French New Wave, and like his movie or film in like a square, like TV, Yeah, that format, that little square was kind of a little bit influenced by that. But I think that's the limit of where it goes, This stuff is, but yeah, there's a little bit of movie. I guess you can change them and thing, maybe. It's also some lazy, I always work with, when I did like Nicolas thing, there's no background, there's nothing like that. And I don't know if it's a quality or a weakness, but I challenge myself, but just enough that I'm not going to draw a car and whatever, because I'm not going to risk that. I'm not going to risk making a story in space right now. I'm not going to big story. I just want like a traditional 6-panel. I don't know. I think sometimes when you read the comic, it just flow and.
Right. Like you draw, every panel is like the same size. So it's almost like a film storyboard. You don't ever do like this panel leads to like a big splash page or whatever. You never do that stuff. In fact, I don't know if you've ever done that. Like this is like the storyboard for a film or something. You can just like over to a studio. Here you go.
Well, it's like Joe Ullman. Joe Ullman, he got this 9-panel. Panel grid. It's that he's even like on his Twitter, he said like 9-panel for life.
So this book is about your girlfriend and child, right? I mean, that's who these characters are.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, I mean, it's a fiction in a sense of like, she didn't investigate a crime, but it is them. It is my apartment. It is like, it's a little bit like a lot of the story, like the bird is the real bird, and a lot of the story are really stuff that happened, and then there's the murder mystery that is all invented. But the character a little bit with this drive, she's a little bit like that, my girlfriend. So,
and the birth story is that's how that birth actually happened, the way that it's in this book.
Yeah, that was done with her. So it's like that's how it happened.
But how much input did Rebecca have in this book, like in the story?
Well, apart from like being an inspiration, is you know, they inspire me on that for the character and the thing. But apart from the bird story, not really anything, you know. She was reading it and she read it. Like, of course you know, I wouldn't publish. I wouldn't have done that without her.
Yeah.
The only thing she said at some point was like, some people might think I'm a bad mother from some stuff, and then we discussed on how we changed it. But it's so, the story is so over the top in that sense that she's a good mother. If people really think it's true, it's kind of crazy. But yeah, I mean, you know, she worked with Ron Poirier, so she's like, you know, she's part of publishing that book in English too, in a sense. You know, so.
Okay.
She could have a say. She could say, I don't want that book published in English, you know?
Well, I read a review of it that talked about how like warm it is, you know?
I think I worked so much, you know, there was a lot of trauma around, like when my daughter was born, there was someone who died close, and I worked with at the hospital with illness and death a lot. And I think with the birth of my daughter, I think I was in the mood to do like something a little bit more like really fun. So for me, and that's often the case with a lot of my book, but this one especially. But so this is, yeah, it's pretty intentional, you know. I don't think I'm as happy as I like at the book or like colorful, but then when I draw, yeah, I kind of like, I think I have a softer side, you know. It's more what show of my personality in my drawing.
Like Reunion, for example, is like a really funny graphic novel. Like it's legitimately funny. And do you feel like you still have that in you, where you can just write jokes as easily as you could have when you were a younger cartoonist?
I do, but I think I do. But and there's another book that I started after Petty Theft that was on the same kind of you know, that kind of character. That's and because you're inspired by your real life sometimes, or I don't want to deal with the conflict in real life that you're gonna have while you do story.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know, there was some, maybe you know, I'm listening to what people say around, and there was some people that, you know, people were tired a little bit of this kind of comic, like the from what I hear around. And so you know, you're thinking about that, and I think by stepping back, I got out of it. But I think naturally I would do that all the time. I got into a weird confrontation yesterday with a man. I never get in confrontation, but there was a big one yesterday that I got about a parking thing. And I was like, well, that's perfect for a comic, you know, and you make it even bigger. And it's like, that's naturally the character is from, you're like anxious thing, which I'm not that anxious. So I don't even know why I push that. I'm not even anxious that much. But it's just for the comedy, I just take the worst and I put it on paper. I still have it, I just don't know. And there's people at the hospital who read, like, I'm too self-conscious sometimes, you know, when you think too much. You put, you know, you don't always put the best of you in, no, you depend on the comic you do. Do you think about that, or?
I think the reason why I asked that question is because like right now I've been thinking a lot about this, and like I've been really hard on myself because I don't think that I can write as funny as I used to be. Like when I wrote like My Hot Date and like the first Fonte book, and I did this comic book in Europe, I felt like I was like at the height of, like it was just coming out of me. Like I could just like make fun of shit. I could just be as funny and cruel as I wanted to be. And I don't know where that went. That's like, it's, you know, as I've gotten older now, I want to do like more. I want to do like another funny book. I just can't do it. Like it will not. I think it's a lot of it is self-consciousness and being aware that there is a reader, and being aware of the world that this book is going to go out into, you know, and people take things very seriously now and all. I don't know. There's like all this. It's a big mixture, but it's like stifled me. So like I just can't loosen up and be funny.
Yeah. I remember when you did a reading at the John Crowley bookstore in Montreal, and you read from My Hot Date. And people were laughing. It was like a stand-up show, you know. I mean, you're reading. It was like you were like David Sedaris, like reading like on the stage. I remember.
I would be self-conscious to even do that now, though. You know, I would be like, somebody is gonna get mad, or you know, I don't know. Like I just. Yeah,
I don't know if Reunion. Yeah, I would have to reread it. I don't know. I don't know those things like, and they, but you know, at the end of the day, those books, even Reunion, like you kind of, I don't, well, I'm not really that character too, and most people in the book, even in Reunion, or not everybody's aware, but I'm not that creep from those books, so it's easier to do a book to do that when I'm more like this creep. I don't know if they need more book about a creep in the world. I don't
Yeah, that's the funny thing. Like, the
I don't
main,
know. It's like I would ask like someone like Joe Matt who's working on this book, like how, you know, how like that it's
it just wouldn't come out anymore. Like, I feel like if Joe Matt were to reprint Poor Bastard, nobody would, like, Drawn and Quarterly's not going to publish that now. Like, it's a book where he punches his girlfriend in the face and gives her a black eye, and he's in a room
yeah.
debating and stuff. Like, it's not going to work in today's system.
Yeah, and the difference is like Poor Bastard is a real book too, in the sense of, I mean, that's the worst of him, but that's still him in the book. So, which is the difference where I'm doing fiction still. So the things that I do in the book are not real. So, you know, I don't think it's. I think I hide behind that a lot. I don't know why I did that at the beginning. Like, there's people that ask me like, why don't do fiction instead? And maybe I should have done that instead, because this character is. There's a lot of things. It's not me. You know, Pelitet didn't exist for real. It didn't happen.
I do the same. My character of me, like, I draw with a mustache, and it's like it's not me, but it's funnier if the reader thinks it's me. Like that.
Yeah, I guess it's that game.
You do the same. You make your character fat, and
well, it's because of I was big. I was like 260 at some point. So it's like when you lose a lot of weight, you don't lose it here. You know, I still have the posture like, and I struggle with weight all the time. So it's like this is like it's like you lose weight, but you're still the big child and the big kid in your head. I think it's that. You know? This is a good portrait of me from my daughter. You see, her, she thinks I'm fat. She's 3 years old. This is her with a smile. Like, look at the smile. This is her mother with a heart at the top, you know. And this is me with, look at this straight face, you know.